This is Larry West. I got something I want to go over with you this morning. I think you will appreciate it. Some of you have seen it already, but I'm going to try to make it a little bit more clear to some of the folks that it's not as up as others are on what it means and the purpose and the consequences of it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see how this thing goes. Thank you. This entire page represents 3 lies regarding salvation. Salvation, of course, is life after death. You either have salvation or damnation. It's one or the other. But there is life after death. This sheet and these things I'm going to cover will help you decide just exactly where you fit in the box there and what to look forward to or dread, if you may. First of all, and that the throne represents where your heart is, really. And the cross, of course, represents your source of salvation, and it happens to be the only source of salvation. The S represents your mind, or where your desires are. So the S represents where you are in your life. If you've ever known these people that just seem to have everything together in life and everything's working just fine, and no problems at home, and work's going well, and the business is going well, this person, if you'll notice, on the throne, he has the cross. In other words, what this person has done, he's placed Christ first in his life in everything he does, including family matters, business matters, sporting matters. Everything he goes, everything he does, he places it in Christ's lap, if you may. The P's that you see around the side represent his priorities. And if you'll notice, this gentleman or lady, the priorities are in a perfect circle all the way around. And in that perfect circle is the S. That stands for, if you recall, for self. That's him. He has Christ on the throne as number 1. He has himself over on the lower right. Now, let's refer to the number 1 life. Has the throne in the center, just like the number 3 did. It also has the cross outside of his life. He will not recognize Jesus Christ as his only source of salvation. He denies the deity of Jesus Christ. The priorities, if you'll notice, are just all mixed up. In fact, he was constantly changing those priorities up there. He'll take himself down. He'll put his kids up there for a while. Then he'll take his kids down, and then he'll put his job up there on that throne for a while. He'll have addiction he'll put up on that throne for a while. And what he's done, he's grabbing for peace of the heart. It don't come from anywhere except from God. That's where it comes from. Okay, now let's go to number 2, circle. I know it's a little bit backwards, but it's well worth it when you look at it. Number 2, the person has his throne in the middle of his life, all right? But that throne has on it right now, he has placed a priority up there. What are priorities? Well, it could be anything from your golf game to your kids, by the way. You can make kids priority, or a husband or a spouse make priority over God. That won't work. That's not the way God intended it. You put him first, and everything else will, in fact, come together. He has the cross. At one point in time, he accepted Christ, or at least thought he did, and he brought him into his life. But he's useless. He's like a rag mop or an old wet towel. He's just there. Ignores Christ and everything he does. Don't pay any attention. It's okay to have a little fling here and there and so forth. And if you get caught, apologize for it. If you go to jail, we'll serve you time and get out. But that's what the center cross represents. Now, I'm going to let you decide what happens to these people. We know for a fact that number 3 has a home already waiting for him in heaven. We go back to number 1 over here. We know that that man has absolutely no chance whatsoever of salvation unless he repents and moves God up on that throne. Now, we all know that there is a heaven and there is a hell. And that we do know that there's a life hereafter, whether we want to admit it or not. One thing I would like to cover, by the way, is this thing about life and hereafter and who's going to be in heaven. First of all, if you put Christ first, you're going to be in heaven. But what happens when in this middle life, the number 2? Now, we all know that there is a heaven and there is a hell. And that we do know that there's a life hereafter, whether we want to admit it or not. One thing I would like to cover, by the way, is this thing about life and hereafter and who's going to be in heaven. First of all, if you put Christ first, you're going to be in heaven. But what happens when in this middle life, the number 2, what happens? You constantly have problems. You're constantly searching for things to fulfill your life or your peace, if you may. You'll find hobbies. I know I did. I've learned how to fly airplanes. I had speed boats, and I had fishing boats, and I had drinking and drugs and partying. Everything you're not supposed to do, I had. But I was trying to replace God. Now, I was in that number 2 circle. I was there. Now, I can say this. God never, ever let me forget who I was and who I belonged to. He let me know in many, many, many ways. I elected to do what I wanted to do in life, not what God wanted me to do. And that's sad. That's sad when you do that. I spent 40 years doing things my way. God was calling me to do, well, actually what I'm doing right now. But no, not me. I didn't think I was qualified. I didn't think I had what it took, and I had people to tell me that. And so I listened to the devil. Now, would I have gone to hell had I not changed? Well, in a way, I kind of did go to hell, but it was hell on this earth is what happened. Nothing was ever successful to me monetary-wise. That's what I was trying to make. I made the world out of money, and money was going to be my life. And, well, that's not what God brought me here. He didn't bring me here to be rich. He brought me here to bring messages to people, well, like a lot of you, that's lost and on your way to hell and don't even realize it and won't admit it. So that's why I'm here. Now, back to the chart here one more time. The person in circle 1 or life 1 there is very unhappy. I don't care how much they laugh and how much they smile and scream and jump and attend football games and so forth. But those people, if they don't have Christ up there like number 3 does, he's in trouble. He don't know what to do about it. The fella in life number 2, this guy or gal, whatever it is, they have brought in there, and what they did when they were young, they bought fire insurance. They heard a preacher say sometime that you got to be born again to go to heaven and not hell. So they accepted that, and they bought that, and they joined the church and probably was baptized and all this stuff, and very probably lived a close life. But somewhere down the line, they slipped out of that. There probably should be I don't need a 4th circle. I just need to have you to understand that 2nd circle is where I was, and where you are if you've done what I just got through saying. You just can't put God. If God has a job for you on this earth, He will let you know, and you will follow it, or you'll just keep crumbling. And when you realize is when you get at the bottom. Now let me tell you about the bottom so you'll know. A lot of people don't really know. They say, I hit the bottom. That's because they went broke and didn't have nothing else and they had to file bankruptcy. They call that the bottom. A lot of people get a divorce, get separated from a family. They call that the bottom. It's not the bottom. The bottom is when you see absolutely no reason whatsoever for drawing a breath of air. You have nobody. You have nothing. You have a dark place that you live, and that you sleep and you stay. Everybody's mean. They're out to get you. Everybody's a crook. And it gets so bad that you cannot justify a purpose for living on this earth. That's where God can always be found. He's always right there, and you're sitting right beside it. He's always there, but you don't recognize him. You're too proud, you're too busy, you're too much of a self-made man or a woman to accept the fact that you are nothing without Jesus Christ. So when you realize that, and there's nobody there to talk to but God, and you're in a dark place, then all of a sudden a glimmer of light will show up from the right side, the circle there. You will say, well, no wonder this happened. No wonder that didn't happen. And then you'll start, your past will be revealed to you, but in a way to help you prepare for the future, if I may. And that's probably one of the most important things that a person can realize, is once they realize where they are, and most people never have that opportunity to be in the place, to be in the bottom of the barrel. They really don't. And that's, that's good, because they learned and they and they believed and they did what God built them and created them to do. A lot of people just stubborn, bullheaded, self-made, and or think they are. And therein lies your problem. And that's why people get to where this second circle comes from. I hope this will help some of you. I really do. And if so, drop me a line and let me know. If you don't like it, it's tough. I wish, I don't care whether you like it or not. It's not my job to make you like anything or to dislike anything. My job is simply to tell you the truth. And that comes right straight from Jesus Christ, from the bottom of my barrel. Thank you so much. We'll catch you later.